Hey, everybody. My name is Jim Farmer. I'm the festival director of Out on Film. Thank you all for supporting us this year. This is our 34th year of bringing you stories for, by, and about our community and its allies. This is our first hybrid festival, meaning that you can see films in theater and you can also see films virtual as well. And we have an extraordinary program of local shorts this year. I'm so honored to be able to present all these films and have such a rich tapestry of filmmakers. One of the films that we're showing as part of local shorts is Meet the Team, taking Jay Setting from underground clubs to the main stage. And we have the director of the film, Frederick Taylor, here to talk to us and answer a few questions. Thanks so much, Frederick.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
sure thing. Well, just tell us briefly a little bit about yourself.
Um, I'm a filmmaker. I
Okay.
enjoy filmmaking. I sort of approach it as a medium for artistic expression. I'm originally from the South Side of Chicago. I went to college in Philadelphia at Temple University, went to graduate school at Georgia State in Atlanta. That's how I ended up in Atlanta as well. And I've always just kind of been an artist that operates in that sort of conscious space. I notice a lot of things around me. I'm very curious. I'm interested in cultures.
Mhm.
I've been affected and touched by many cultures as well. And I've turned it into a business, to be perfectly honest. And so I get hired to do a lot of really great things with great people.
Sure.
And that's how I pay my rent. And it's taken me to pretty much every point on the globe except for the Arctic poles. I have not filmed anything, at the North Pole nor the South Pole, but I've been all of those places in between. And so this particular piece that you just mentioned is a part of that continuing journey. It was with PBS, KQED out of San Francisco. They have a series called If Cities Could Dance, and they wanted to do an Atlanta episode. And this Atlanta episode that we did ended up winning an Emmy.
Yeah, congratulations. That's so exciting. Well, just tell us a little bit about the origin of Jay Setting, which is also known as bucking, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Just tell us a little bit about the origin.
It's a really interesting story, or backstory, I should say. Jackson State is an HBCU school, and Jackson State is to the civil rights era of the past what Kent State was to the civil rights era of the past. And what I mean by that, it was an incident on both campuses right around the same time in the early 70s, where they were doing on-campus protests, and they were locking down dorms, and then here come the police and the troops, and then people start being accidentally shot, unfortunately. But that's one of the things that Jackson State has been known for, is a particular incident similar to the Kent State one. The problem that people don't know as much about Jackson State as Kent State is, for some of the obvious reasons. I mean, it's an HBCU school and it's buried deep in the South. But also at Jackson State, some of the best, greatest football players of all time have come from Jackson State. The two greatest being Walter Payton and Jerry Rice as well. And a legion of really great people have come through Jackson State and gone on and done great things. One of the things Jackson State and the HBCU world is known for are marching bands.
Yeah.
And I think we've all been exposed to it. We've seen it. And, there's a big wow factor in watching these marching bands, and especially the majorettes that lead the charge with the marching band, with the band leader and all of their dance steps and things like that. And at Jackson State, this sort of hybrid form of dance formed out of it. It literally moved from the marching band world into the clubs. It became another form of dancing expression, but it took on a different form because the people that got attached to it were not other women, they were gay men.
Okay.
And that's the twist. These women who were doing all of these incredible athletic dance moves, there were gay men that were saying, oh my God, I love that. I want to do that too. And then they sort of took it into their zeitgeist and turned it into something that was expressive for themselves. And it was interesting because as the form continued to develop, it started to echo some things that we know from the past, specifically things like breakdancing and disco, which were two things that were more of a Northeastern form of urban dance expression.
Okay.
And then they took some of the sort of the music from the majorettes as well and turned it into club music as well. So it started combining itself with hip hop beats, trap beats, things like that. And so there's an entire, and with this infusion of Black gay male energy, it feels like something that goes straight to the dance floor and resurrects the careers of great Black gay artists like Sylvester, for those of you old enough to remember. It's got a lot going on, a lot of incredible moving parts to it, and it's exhilarating and it's exciting and it's urban, and it's another step in the continuing legacy of urban music. And it gives you a peek into the future of like, wow, the whole world isn't hip hop. Okay. There are other things that can happen beyond hip hop. And I think that's pretty exciting too. So J-setting has the potential to be a 360 type of art form that suddenly everybody's J-setting and everybody's wearing the outfits and the clothes and trying to learn the dances and the whole deal. Exactly. And that makes it exciting as well. And I'm just so happy that it's something that is emerging from the LGBTQ community as well, and at the right time. It brings a lot of people a lot of joy as well, and that's refreshing. Sure.
Now, when did you first become familiar with J-setting?
About a year ago. Okay. I'm very familiar with HBCU schools. I am the son of an HBCU professor who was also the band leader for an HBCU school out of Philadelphia called Cheney University. So I spent my Saturdays with my father in the stands watching him conduct and direct the marching bands. So I knew all about the majorettes and their dance moves and their sequined outfits and all the other stuff as well. So it was kind of something right in my own backyard. Okay. And that's what allowed me to really take to J-setting once I learned more about it. I had heard about it, but I had never really gotten close to it or in contact with it. I didn't really know how to access it until I met Leland Thorpe, who is the leader of the Atlanta Dance Champs. Mm-hmm. And he was the person that was being highlighted in the PBS show. And we met and we totally hit it off and shared a lot of my own personal legacy and backstory. He shared his. We have a lot in common. I'm from Chicago. He's from Detroit. All kinds of stuff like that as well. And so that's how it happened for me. It was very organic. I sort of had the predisposition to like it, and then once exposed to it, I loved it.
Yeah. Can you talk about the environment? Because what is what I'm struck by, and let me also say that a number of years ago, out on film, our opening night film was When the Beat Drops. So Atlanta audiences our audiences are quite familiar with Bucky. But can you talk a little bit about the environment and the atmosphere this creates? Because for a lot of people, for the dancers, it feels like home for them. It feels like they feel comfortable being here, whereas other places they might not feel comfortable being in their own shoes. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, all cultures need environments for growth. That's why in many of the major cities in America, there are parts of neighborhoods that, have grown for the gay community. Sure. They have these areas where they go in, they buy a property, they buy businesses, and they live there. And that's on a physical level. And there's also on a meta level as well. And so this particular genre of expression gives the LGBTQ community a space to grow. And at the same time, it's bringing things together culturally. It's for everybody that's a part of the LGBTQ diaspora as well, from all different shapes, sizes, colors, and things like that as well. And it creates a wonderful opportunity for people in the, hetero cisgendered community, however you want to say it, to be a part of it as well. As you very well know, over the past few decades, we've been slowly fracturing and segregating and segmenting ourselves again, which over the past, 4 years has really bubbled to the surface and really exposed how fractured We really are. And so we've all longed for those days of, I just want to get back to the 60s when everybody loved Motown and the Beatles. I just want to get back to the 70s when everybody's running to the dance floor at Studio 54. We lost all of that momentum. And this particular genre has an opportunity to be a binding agent for all of that moving forward as well. So we can get back to community, to be perfectly honest and frank. And I think that's what human beings really want, and that's who human beings really, really are. So I just view this whole movement as just
Sure.
a humanistic endeavor.
Yeah. So why Atlanta? Why do you think Atlanta, it has become a home for J7? Why do you think it's just taken off here?
Atlanta, for a very long time, since the post-Civil War community of Reconstruction, has been a place of rebirth and growth and trying to assimilate and trying to figure out how to accommodate all of these different people that are coming from different backgrounds, and I think the igniter with that was when Sherman burned it all to the ground as a strategic move in crippling the South during the Civil War. And it's no strange coincidence, that Martin Luther King is from Atlanta as well. And a lot of really great civil activists have come out of Atlanta. Atlanta was pivotal in swinging the election back in the direction of common sense last year as well. I had the opportunity and the wonderful honor and privilege of doing an interview with the late Congressman John Lewis, and we focused specifically in the interview on LGBTQ issues and the African American community and other diverse communities of color as well. And it was fascinating when he was able to really give you an oral history of what this city is all about. And when this city's back is against the wall, when it comes to the suffering of others, it responds in the right way. And that has a lot to do with the post-Civil War dynamic that Martin Luther King harnessed and turned into a movement, and that movement continues to carry itself. Sometimes it drifts away from the mainstream, and then something happens that's really important, and it comes back. It happened in the late 70s, early 80s as well, with the pandemic of HIV. Sure. In the gay community as well. There were a lot of tremendous people here in Atlanta that mobilized, John Lewis being one of them, Sandra Thurman over at Emory University and the CDC as well, and legions of others too. And a lot of really great community people on the grassroots level. Some of them are still here, and unfortunately, some of them have gone and passed. But again, that's who we really are. It was even when we had the unfortunate assassinations that happened at the massage parlors out there on Cheshire Bridge Road, the numbers of people that mobilized for that, the numbers of people that came and left flowers and well wishes and prayers and things like that was incredible. And it was people from all different backgrounds, and including the LGBT community as well. They were there too. We know how to, in Atlanta, support what is right ultimately when push comes to shove.
I mean, there's so many things I love about this film. I mean, obviously, for people who aren't familiar with J7, it's an introduction, but it's also the film is just so Atlanta. I mean, it just is a great showcase for Atlanta. But what was it like? The first time you showed this film and had maybe some of the dancers there, and they were able just to see this, on a big screen or with other people in the audience. What was that experience like?
It's interesting because it's sort of a twofold question. The dancers, they were in tears by the time we got to the last setup at the end of the day, before we even edited it and put it together, because they were the talent and they had been participating in all of the sequences. And it's okay, back to one, we're going to do it again. And, rehearse, step 1, 2, 3, ready, go, boom, action. They were in that all day. And they started to really feel something about what this really was. And it was an incredible cathartic experience for them. And they said, you're the first group of artists in Atlanta in the filmmaking community that take us seriously. that
Okay.
see the value in what we're bringing to the community at large, and not only the African American community, the urban community, and also the LGBTQ community.
Sure.
So later, when the piece was finished, it was just everybody got on board.
Mhm.
It's just been, like a freight train out of control. There's nobody saying no to this. Number one with a bullet, as the old people used to say when you had a hit song. And
Right.
that's kind of what it is. Everybody loves this. Everybody's into this. The great part about your film festival and organization Out on Film, you were the first ones that stepped up, that said, yes, absolutely, we're in. And that's gotten us really excited. So for us, this is also a world premiere in the festival universe. Forever, ever, amen. Where was this film first seen? First, Out on Film in Atlanta. And I think that is rightfully so as we continue to move on. So I'm excited to see where this goes, but it started here. So the same excitement that you felt about it when you saw it for the first time, that's exactly how people feel about it. And it doesn't matter who it is or what background they are. And every time people see it, the first thing they just say is, wow, and this is so necessary. And,
Exactly.
we need more of this. As well. So the long answer to your question is, the reaction is, when people see it, they want more.
That's so great. I'm so honored that we're the first festival to be showing it.
Yes, you've beaten everyone to the punch, Jim.
Hey,
Everybody's behind you. You got there. And like I said, we are indebted to you guys
so
as
much.
well.
We're honored to show. So as we're winding up, I just have to ask you. I mean, you won an Emmy earlier this year for this project. What was that experience like?
Terrifying. I mean, you never think you're going to do stuff like that.
Sure.
That stuff's for the magical people that are on TV. Like, you just think, like, who's ever going to care about something I'm passionate about that's not in the system trying to sell itself out?
Mhm.
And it was overwhelming. It was a point of complete and total joy
Mhm.
to be able to be a part of something that now has recognition
Sure.
into spaces that I could normally not get into. So I like to say, now people pick up the phone, they take my calls, and people are inquiring, and people are talking, and people want to write articles, and people are falling out of the sky, and people want to be my new best friend, or people that I hadn't talked to in a long time, they're calling me.
Exactly.
Old relationships are resuscitating themselves, and that whole phenomena has started as well. So that's what it is. It's a sort of a boost, it's a jolt that kind of sends you up, which it's sorely needed, for not only my life, but for so many other people, because we've been through so much almost for the past 2 years. But I would argue the trouble started, honestly, during the election cycle of 2016. I mean, so it's been kind of not fun for a while.
Exactly.
And the Emmy really represents, like, hey, hang on, there's some good things coming ahead. So that's what it means to me, and I think to a lot of the people that worked on it as well.
That's great. Congratulations. So very deserved. The film is Meet the Team, taking Jay Setting from underground clubs to the main stage. It is part of Out on Film's local shorts, available in theater and available online. It's a must-see, as is all the films in this program. You have to watch it. Thank you, Frederick Taylor, for joining us today. Congratulations on the film. Congratulations on your Emmy, and continued good luck moving forward.
Thank you so much, Jim. I can't tell you how much I really appreciate you and your organization as well. You guys are doing great things.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
You got it. Okay.